guest today, Chris Latvala, District 67, the Florida House. Thank you for joining us, Chris.
Thank you for having me, Al. It's a pleasure to be here.
All right, let's talk about this. This was the bill, and we talked about Jordan Billevue. This was a 2-year-old who was killed by his mother while the child was actually being cared for by another couple that were trying to adopt the child. It's just a horrific mess. And when everybody looked about it, they go, well, wait, who did what and who did what wrong? All of that kind of thing. So let's talk about what was your bill going to accomplish that the current law did not say?
My bill had 4 components to it. One of the major components, and all 4 pieces of it were directly related to both Jordan's case and other cases in the Tampa Bay area where kids died as a result of actions of their biological parents. Mm-hmm. One of the major pieces of my bill had to do with notification of law enforcement when law enforcement had a interaction with a parent or of a child mm-hmm. who was a result of a child protective investigation. Yeah. And that happened in Jordan's case. It happened in baby Will Hendrickson's case in Largo, who was another child that died shortly after law enforcement had interaction with his parents. The way that the law currently is written and what is current law is law enforcement has no way of knowing when they're interacting with a parent that there is an active child protective investigation ongoing. So they didn't know in Jordan's case, they didn't know in baby Will's case, they didn't know in some of these other cases.
And why didn't they know? This is what I don't understand.
Well, there's no information sharing between the child welfare agencies and law enforcement.
That wasn't required.
Correct. And so this would make it a requirement. And so when law enforcement has an interaction, a month or 2 before Jordan Bellevue's tragic death, there was a law enforcement interaction with both of his parents. And they did not know that there was active child protective investigation going on. Had they known, they would have made different decisions.
Here's what, again, as I scratch my head, I mean, generally as you're covering politics, some things you can understand. This is one I didn't get. So it passes in the House 116-0, and then maybe it was because it was late in the session, but then it looked like it hit a wall. And the reason that I heard was, well, DCF and Child Protective, they weren't on board with this, so they were afraid of the costs. Yes,
well,
no?
That's hogwash. DCF helped me write the bill. FDLE helped me write the bill. In the Senate, there was a delay from the get-go. It was delayed in the first committee by over a month. You would have to ask that chairman why they waited over a month to hear the bill initially.
Who was the chairman?
Senator Lauren Book.
Okay.
She waited over a month to hear it. It passed that committee unanimously. It passed, but it still delayed it.
Yeah.
It passed the next committee a week or 2 later unanimously. But, you know, there was the delay, and so basically the Senate ran out of time. And then after the fact, they said, oh, well, there was fiscal issues, there were legal issues, even though the House had numerous lawyers that you know, looked at the bill, didn't have any constitutional questions, didn't have any legal questions. FDLE helped me write the bill. DCF mm-hmm. helped me write the bill. The Largo Police Department helped me write the bill. So it's basically the Senate was just trying to CYA, and I think, you know, it was you know, politics and personality, you know, and you'd have to ask Lauren Book why she waited so long. And coincidentally, she waited until after I put an item in my budget that personally benefited her. And so she heard the bill a week after I put an item in my budget, my K-12 education budget, that gave her a direct salary.
So I have to ask you, when you passed her in the hallways, did you say hello?
No.
No. And she never gave you a reason?
No.
So I know this happens with bills. There was over 3,500 almost proposed. Sure. A smaller number were eventually passed. I know you were really exasperated, and I think that's a mild word about what happened here, and I think there was an outcry from the area as well. So you're going to get another chance at the bat, as they say. You're going to get this to them to do something right away. What needs to be changed in the law so that Lauren Book and others may give the go-ahead to get this done early?
Well, the moment that we're allowed to file bills this summer, I'm going to be filing the bill that passed the House. We had amended it a couple times due to some of these questions that FDLE had and DCF had. And so we did amend it a couple times in the House.
Right.
So we're going to file that version that passed the House 116-0, that every senator that had it in their committee, including Lauren Book, supported. That's going to be the version that we file. So, you know, when it's filed this summer, they will have plenty of time to look at it in the Senate.
Now, I have also heard that some people say, well, and these are the folks that really want to change things. They basically said, we got to stop doing piecemeal bills that are named after dead babies or dead children, and we need to restructure the whole department. And I know this has been ongoing, and I've been covering politics long enough to see the different machinations and how they've tried to change this piece and that piece and that. Is anybody working on the overall picture to say, if we were to reform everything right down the line, it would solve some of these problems?
Well, if it means naming it after Lauren Book, I will be more than happy to name it after Lauren Book or another senator. The Rules Chair, who could have helped at the end of session and chose not to, she has a scholarship named after her. So I will be more than happy to name it after the Senate Rules Chairman if it means passing this bill. So the Senate, you know, names bills after themselves all the time.
Yeah.
So I will be more than happy to name it after a senator if it means having, you know, child welfare reforms that we need. The way that I look at it as, you know, Jordan's Law is not going to be the end-all be-all when it comes to child welfare reform, but I look at it as this is the most common sense and the most consequential reforms that we can do.
Yeah.
Jordan's Bellevaux's foster mother herself said that if this law was in place, it would have saved his life. And so, you know, and it's proven that, you know, it's not just his life, but there are other lives
others,
that we could have saved if this was in place. And so, you know, frankly, I'm tired of these kids dying in the Tampa Bay area. And we're at a crisis point in the Tampa Bay area and around Florida, but especially in the Tampa Bay area. And I also want to point out that when it came time to the budget, the Florida Senate was not very helpful when it came to getting extra money for caseworkers that is badly needed in Pinellas and Hillsborough.
Right,
and it was only because of the work of Representative Chris Sprouse that we were able to get extra money for caseworkers.
Sure, and just one of the things, we're out of time right now. You want to make a 15-child minimum for caseworkers. Some of the caseworkers, what, 25, 30 cases?
Yes, sir.
I mean, it's crazy. Chris Latvala, District 67, good luck. Will it be still HB 315 or does it get a new number?
It'll probably get a new number.
All right, thank you for stopping by and good luck in Tallahassee.
Sir. Thank you very much.